Hi guys, hey, this is Kevin with KKOA. Come to you to discuss our problem that we had. Many of you know, or we've made an announcement, we had an issue with our hard drive crashing. Part of the problem that we did is we never did do a backup or have a backup solution. We would normally unload all our memory cards onto the laptop or onto an external hard drive, which is what we did. After we took our big trip, every time we did something, we ended up taking those files and downloaded onto the external hard drive. Unfortunately, through our transporting and the very last day of us before we came back, that external hard drive ended up crashing. So before we can actually back that up. One of the solutions so we don't have this happen again is we're going to set up a backup drive system, one that will, go through, back up our laptops, back up our hard drives, so we have another set of backups. So just in case this happens again, we don't lose our data. This is kind of a costly mistake because we even know that we may be able to recover the data on the hard drive, send it off to location professional thing, but that can be very costly. After doing much research, we looked into probably the best cost-effective solution that we did. So this is what we had come up with. We have first piece of hardware we ordered is the Synology DiskStation. This is actually, it's a high performance, allows to add a couple external or internal hard drives to it. It'll automatically do your backup, store, and it'll basically create like kind of a network drive. I'm hoping to set it up where we can access it from each one of our computers and also with our external hard drive, so we can back that up. We end up getting the Seagate's, the 4 terabyte hard drives. These are designed to be more for NAS systems, not like your regular PC hard drives. So these are designed to be heavily used, heavily back up, and to always constantly be online. The difference between the hard drives like you would have in your computer versus a NAS, your NAS systems are hard drives that are constantly online, constantly being back up, and constantly pretty much running 24/7. They design those a little bit differently to where the longevity hours last a lot longer. They're a lot more durable than like your regular standard hard drives for your PC. Whereas a hard drive with the PCs are generally, they power on, power off several times a day, or they go to sleep, whereas these drives are pretty much on 24/7. That's kind of where we're at, so we'll go ahead and probably get started. We'll go ahead and open this up and see what's inside. The reviews I'd seen, or the information that I looked into this, it's supposed to be pretty easy to set up. It can go on any network. It doesn't seem too terribly hard as far as with the setup. Probably one of the #1 rated recommended that people have used this and everything recommend. It has 2 bays, so to take the cover off. Bays at your hard drives, it's got a bank 0 and a bank 1. They do make these in a 4 bay and a 5 bay. A little bit more cost if you want to have a full RAID configuration. What I'm going to mainly do, I'm probably going to have one as a drive that's a constant backup, that's going to be using the backup, and I'll probably have the other drive set up in a RAID configuration. That way it'll be more compressed. It'll be a compressed backup of everything. So this will probably just be a drive that'll be accessible, it'll be on the network, and then my other drive will be more of a compressed drive to back up this drive and also everything else. It has a USB 3.0 port on the front, so you could directly hook an external hard drive up to that. And it also, on the back, it has a USB 3.0 connection on the back, along with a network cable and a LAN cable. So this can be fully integrated and fully on your network, where you can either connect up to it directly, or where it's stays on your network and you just map your drives. So it has a little quick installation startup guide. It looks like a pretty standard brick power supply, a network cable. So that's pretty much it to it on the inside. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so it says, check the Synology.com for compatible drives, which I already did pre-check that these drives, these NAS drives, are the ones that are recommended kind of for it. Looks like the first step, take the cover off, which we did. The next step is to go ahead and eject and pull your trays. These are the actual trays that will hold your, that'll actually hold your hard drives. Step 2 says to go ahead and, looks like it says, it's got a little pull, it says pull on there. So you'll go ahead and pull this, pry that open. So you'll do that on both sides. All right, so step 3 is going to be to put your hard drive, just set it down in the tray. This is designed if it's if you're going to put it for a 3.5 hard drive, or if you get a smaller 2.5 inch hard drive. If it's a 3.5 inch hard drive, you just kind of set the drive or whatever in place. Make sure when you set it in place that your connections are actually facing towards the inside, so it slides in. Make sure that that does go in that way. Step 3, so you'll take your, it's got little holes in there that's designed to where normally there's screws that go in the side. With this, there really isn't any kind of screws that go on the side. These actually have the little pins. The pins are what actually go into the hole that'll lock those in place. So just snap that in there. Snap that in place. And that holds, now the drive is in the tray. So it just slides in. When you slide in, the drive will be facing towards all the lights and everything in the front. So just slide that in, it snaps in place, and then we'll go to our next drive. Snaps in like so, the drive's in there. Now we'll face the drive and lock it in. Step 3 is pretty much just put the cover on. Thought there may have been like a little snap. No really special, but now the drives are in there. So step 4 says plug it in, power it up, and connect that to your PC. We'll go on to the, I guess, the hardware or the setup phase. All right, I have this plugged into my home network modem. So, and you'll have the power button that you do here. So you actually have it, you'll have it connected up. So this is where I have my NAS system connected up at. All right, so now that we have the NAS system connected up to the network, we're going to go ahead and open up a browser window, and you're going to type in Synology, SYN, the Synology NAS 5000. And if you have it connected to the network and everything is fine, you'll come to the screen that'll just have a little welcome screen. So we'll go to setup. It says install the disk manager. The DSM is the operating system running Synology NAS. So you'll need to go ahead and install the operating system. So we'll install that. The data. So what it'll do is it'll make sure that you want to make sure all your drives are in, that everything is that these disks, all the data on these. So you're gonna need to do it to fresh, clean hard drives. So it'll go through and actually install. It says it takes approximately 10 minutes. So don't turn off the power. So it looks like it's going to take less than that. So we'll see. Please keep in mind, I've never done this before, so this is the first time of doing any of this or the setup. They say it's pretty easy or whatever to set up. We're going to look and see if it is, how easy it really is for the average person or anybody to set this up. So we'll let it do its thing and let it do its install, and then we'll get back with you. Alright, so as you can see that it is taking, saying that it'll go ahead and restart. After install the operating system, it downloads it to your NAS, and then it will go ahead and go through the restart and reboot process. I had a little bit of issue when it was setting it up. It kept on saying no disk station found within LAN. After kind of going through a little bit of the assistant and troubleshooting a little bit, come to find out it was going through the process and it was setting it up. But because I had Windows Firewall turned on my computer, it was not allowing it to recognize the drive because of the Windows Firewall was preventing it to find. I went in and disabled my Windows Firewall, and then was able to recognize the drive and recognize the program. So once you go and set it up, it looks like you then come into the NAS control screen or anything else that you have. Not 100% what to do, but we'll go ahead and we'll look and see kind of what we got. So I just went to the control panel. Here it's showing both my drives. They're both initialized, they're set up. At this point I'll need to go ahead and set up some drive letters so I can go ahead and map that. The first thing you're going to really need to do is you're going to need to create some type of storage pool. So first what you're going to do is create a pool on how the volumes and creates the volumes. So we'll go ahead and do that. There's a different RAID type. If you want to have RAID 1, which RAID basically divides it up between all the drives. If you want to do more of a single, there's different types. You got the SHR, SHR1, SHR2. SHR will actually kind of divide, partition the drive to set up how it was a store. There's a basic, just kind of a basic setting. This will allow one or more additional new drives in the future to migrate to RAID 1 or RAID 5 for data redundancy or protection. Since I only have 2 drives, I'm not going to really set it up as more of a RAID. I think I'm just going to do a basic configuration, and because that way I can use one drive as an actual active drive and then use the other drive as more of like a backup. So I'm going to partition it to where it'll be more of a compressed drive. The backup drive I'll make it more of a compressed drive, so that way it'll create you more space for backup, but if you ever have to do a backup, you can go back and compress it. We're just going to do a basic RAID configuration. So here I got my drives, drive 1, drive 2. I'm going to select one drive, I'm going to create the pool with the RAID. I'm going to make my second drive, I'm going to create, so it'll go through. It's going to check the drive out. It'll go ahead and set and see how much space is available. Looks like I probably need to format the drive or anything first. That's why it's showing it doesn't have any capacity. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this pool for now. Yeah, there's no volumes. No volumes or nothing set up. So anyway, you can probably research more. I'm not an expert when it comes to doing this, so I'm probably going to have to do a little research and follow. But once you get it set up, it should be set up to where just a little bit in the screen, it shows kind of the health, shows how much space, everything that it's located. I will need to go ahead and set up like a location. Right now there isn't a drive letter, there isn't a partition. So I will need to locate, create a partition, create a drive letter and do all that. So I'll go ahead and try to get this set up and I'll go from there. Okay, I'm back. Now that we have our drives formatted and ready to go, so it took a little bit, but I was able to get in there. As you can see, you've got the different drive information. Here on this one I created a couple storage pools that'll show that we're going to have the different use. If we go over here into the control panel, just a couple little things just want to touch base with. You have a file sharing to look at the shared folder. Here I've kind of created a couple, I guess on the volumes, I kind of created a couple folders that I had pull folder that will pull from. So it kind of tells how big, how much is being used, information, everything on that. Here is showing the different files. So We have our different files I've created. I went ahead and copied or done a backup on one of our drives, so from an old external hard drive. So you can kind of create whatever file folders and everything else, just like you would a regular Windows screen or whatnot. Once you have your file folders and everything mapped or together, you then can go into, you should see your NAS should show up kind of part of the network at the bottom. It'll show as one of the network, and then I actually created, these are the different folders that I did create that will be on the network. You can go ahead and map it to where you right click on it on whatever that network drive that you have, and go ahead and hit map network drive. You can then assign it a letter. Assign it a letter in your thing, which here I did my K and J. One thing good about this is having a NAS or a network attached storage. This allows you to kind of expand your hard drive. You may have laptops or regular desktops, and you need some additional storage, especially if you're shared amongst multiple computers or multiple users. It can really be used for any environment. But having more of a network attached storage does give you that flexibility to kind of expand those laptops and whatnot to give you more storage space. But that's pretty much it with the basis of it. All in all, despite the little hiccups or with the firewall or a little bit of research, looking at some info files, it was fairly pretty easy, pretty simple. Definitely would recommend something like this for anyone, for any application, any use. This will be what we're going to use to kind of back up, so we don't have that issue again of having external hard drives with all our data and everything of having constant external hard drives. The one feature with this, not only will we be able to, we can just plug in our external hard drives right into USB 3.0, but the one positive side with this also allows to have a kind of more of an external access. So you can actually locate this and actually from any computer have an external access. So when we're traveling or we're on the road, we'll be able to access our storage. So instead of actually just backing it up to the external hard drives, we'll be able to access it through cloud-based or anything else, access it really anywhere. So where you can get your files. It also is good with that external access if you're at the office or need to have access to files on your computer. This gives you that ability to always be able to have access to it. So, well, I hope this was informative, or hopefully this will encourage other people if they're thinking about doing this type of system and having this connected to their network. This would definitely be the Synology DiskStation is definitely something I would highly recommend. Depending on how much space you need would depend on the size of the drives, but I think for the average person, a couple 4 terabyte drives is definitely enough expansion that you need. So if you like this, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and thanks again for watching another video of KKOA.